Are you still using digital SLR and are on the fence of switching to mirrorless? In the last few months, Nikon Z8, Sony a7R5, and Canon R6 II were released, each costing thousands of dollars. The question is, should you get one, and which one to get? It's crazy expensive to switch system. I know because I'm broke. I have used a Nikon Z9, a Sony A1, and a Canon R5 for 3 years now. In this video, I'm going to share with you one effective way to decide if mirrorless is for you and which one to get. I'm also going to tell you a new and powerful method I've been using recently to take photos that's like nothing before. Stay till the end and I'll reveal my current favorite camera and lenses combo. Hey, I'm Tin Man Lee, a wildlife photographer. Recently, I'm honored to be chosen by Nature TTL to be included in this list. Surprise! When a new camera is released, I really don't care how many more megapixels, how much better the image stabilization, or how much better the high ISO noise performance is. Before switching to mirrorless 3 years ago, I had not upgraded my cameras for a long time. I was happily using the Nikon D850. So what's my way to decide if a new camera is for me? I only have to ask myself one simple question. The question is, do I still have money left in my bank? Oops. Well, the real question is, does this new camera allow me to take photos that I could not take before? What do I mean by photos I could not take before? There is one kind of photos I have tried to take in the last 10 years without success, or was almost impossible. As you may know, in a photo, how good the background is behind the subject makes or breaks an image. But a lot of the time, it's impossible to get that perfect angle to nail that nice background. For example, if you are in a vehicle, but the current background sucks and you need to shoot at a lower angle for a better background. But it's very difficult because you can no longer see through the viewfinder when you lower the camera. And in the digital SLR days, the live view of the camera LCD was very slow. Keeping autofocus on the subject through the live view LCD was almost impossible. I never thought I would live to see a day that the technology could solve this problem. And it has. That technology, I call it the EARL combo, EARL. So the EARL stands for E for continuous eye tracking, A for zone AF area, R for recomposition, and L for the flip-up LCD screen. It may sound very complicated, but I'll explain in a bit. So missing any one of these four components would not have made taking photos with eye away from the viewfinder possible. It's like going to Panda Express. You choose a combo. The combo makes a complete meal. Without the chow mein, the orange chicken doesn't taste as good, and without the fortune cookie, it loses its meaning. Let me explain this EARL combo in the field. So I was in remote Alaska photographing coastal brown bears, similar to grizzly bears but bigger. And during low tides at a beach, we walked half a mile out in the shallow muddy water. Each step, the mud sucked in my muck boot, so walking was really difficult. With the mud and sand piles, it also makes the foreground and background of the image extremely distracting. So shooting at low angle is a must because it would throw the foreground and background into a pleasing out of focus blur. Yes, I can lay flat on my belly in the mud, but if I'm laying flat, I also appear shorter than the bear and it may trigger the bear to come too close to me, which isn't a very smart thing to do. And if the bear is walking really fast and I need to get a better angle, and if I'm laying flat, I have to climb back up and dig my hands onto the mud to get myself up and get the camera and lens really dirty. Most importantly, it slows me down and causes me to miss shots. However, with mirrorless, I can just kneel down, rest the camera on the top of the toe area of my boot, flip the LCD out like this, and enable Zone AF. The Zone AF area allows the focus points to follow the eye of the bear throughout the whole frame, and the camera will find the eye of the bear and track it even when the bear is moving fast. In real time, I can look down at the LCD, recomposite the bear within the frame without worrying about changing the focus point, and every shot would come out sharp. That's not possible without mirrorless. Same for the photo of a bear cub silhouetted against the beautiful sky. I have to keep moving and then kneel down and get back up again and again and finally get one small window with a good background. If I were to stand up and shoot, I would not be able to align the bear against this beautiful orange color background. It's in the early morning too, so low light. I was using 200 of a second, and the camera body stabilization, the IBIS, enabled sharp shots. Getting a low angle allowed me to get the dramatic stormy sky in the background when this male lion walked by and roared to answer the call from his brother a mile away. Without the eye focus tracking, I would have lost the autofocus. There, I saw two lions walking together one early morning. I was in a vehicle. If I put the camera against my eyes at the regular angle, the foreground would be too bright. But if I lower my camera just about 2 feet below my eyes, then the angle would be perfect to have a dark background and a dark foreground surrounding the lion. So that's exactly what I did. Again, not possible with a digital SLR without missing a lot of shots. David Duchovny in his book Within the Frame said, "The world doesn't need another pretty picture." I agree. I'm a judge for international photo contests such as Nature Photographer of the Year and Bird Photographer of the Year. During the judging process, I have seen tens of thousands of photos and most of them are pretty pictures. So to have a chance to win, the standard is much higher than before. Same for posting photos online. The best way is to take photos that was not possible before. So you may say, but switching to the mirrorless system is so expensive. Many of my students, after mastering this EARL combo, are able to take photos that were previously impossible. And they have won national and international awards, made publications that help conservation. They have also made tens of thousands of dollars in print sales. So if you ask me if mirrorless is worth the investment, it's a resounding yes. You may ask, why now? Why not switch years ago when mirrorless first came out? Well, just 3 years ago, this is not possible. Eye focus tracking was not mature, and there were no prosumer camera with flip-up LCD, and the LCD couldn't really keep up with the action of the subject at the time. Also, Canon 1DX Mark II or any digital SLR doesn't have the eye tracking function. So even if your focusing point is on the animal, once the animal moves, it's very difficult to keep track if your eyes is not against the viewfinder. Now, the eye of the subject is always focused. So to conclude, it's a 4-step process to do in the field. First, you flip the LCD screen up like this, then adjust where you want to hold the camera, how high you want. Then you enable eye focus by half pressing. Once locked onto the eyes of the animal, never let go of the finger so that the eyes is always being tracked. Then slightly move your camera to adjust the composition in camera, which is where you want to place the animal in the frame. Then you press the shutter at the decisive moment. These days, I rarely even look through the viewfinder because this EARL combo gave me a lot more freedom and creativity. I hope I helped you decide if mirrorless is the way to go. But which mirrorless camera to pick? For Nikon, I heard the Z7 or the Z7 II is not very good for eye tracking compared to the Z9, and Z8 has just came out. I heard the eye focus is very good based on other YouTube reviews for Z8 and is $1,500 cheaper than the Z9. The Sony a7R5 I heard is not as good as A1 for eye tracking, and Canon R5 is very good on eye tracking. So Z9, Z8, A1, R5 are good for eye tracking. The flip-up screen is much better for Canon and Nikon. A1 is not very good. And the most important thing is the lens selection. Right now, the Nikon Z400 2.8 with the internal teleconverter is my go-to lens. So my choice is Z9 with the 400. I also placed an order for the Z8 because the weight saving allows me to be more stable when I'm holding the camera. Make sure to check this out because I talk more about the camera. Let me know which camera you are using in the comments below, or if you have any questions, remember to subscribe and see you next time.